Hey guys, what's going on? So we are going to learn about currying today in Python. So function currying is just a specific type of function transformations. It's when we translate a function that takes multiple arguments into a sequence of functions, each with a single argument. So let's see what that means a little bit further. Okay, so for example, take this simple function. It's just summing a plus b. It prints 3 if we use that sum function. Okay, so we can curry this function into a sequence of functions that each take a single argument. So we have a sum, so that outer a plus b. Then we have an inner sum, so a plus b, and we return the inner sum. And we could pass in a and then pass in b to that a, I suppose. So I think b would be 2 here. We'll mess with it here in a moment. Okay, so the sum function only takes in a single input a and returns a new function that takes a single input b. The new function, when called with a value for b, will return this a and b. When taken a function that operates 2 different parameters and created a series of functions that operate on 1 parameter each. We'll talk about later why this is useful. So that's interesting, right? Why do this versus just have a and b and pass it in? Suppose there'll be a point here on why that's really smart to do. Okay, so looks like we need the assignment I imagine is we're going to need to curry this function. So let's see. So in doc to doc, depending on the type of text file we're working with, we sometimes need to transform the font size of the text when it comes time to render on the screen. Fix the converted font size functions. We are using a third-party code library that expects our function to be a curried series of functions that each take a single argument. Converted size should just take a single argument font size and return a function that takes a single argument doc type. So we need to curry that. And that doc type is going to do all the logic here, and then we're going to return the doc type function, I imagine. So let's see, the function should return the font size multiplied by the appropriate value for the given doc type. Interesting. Okay, let's take a crack at it. So we want to have an inner function, right? We'll say define inner function, and we'll say doc type. And let's remove this from here. We're going to remove the logic here. So I don't know if you guys see this. I'm building a inner function, and we're just going to return the inner function. But all of this, I believe, needs to exist here. So let's see. Let's see if this will work, right? Okay, return the inner function, and let's tab it over. Let's run. So we're doing something incorrect here. Let's see, return inner function. I really thought it was going to be that straightforward. Let's maybe take a peek, see what's going on. So if doc type MD is this, I see we have a little bit of spacing errors here. Perhaps that was it. Let's try that. No. Huh. Okay. There it goes. Okay, so we passed. Solution. Boom. Let's see if that passes. Seems to be as easy as that, right? Seems to be. I think that's a elusive thought, right? So which is not known for being a functional language? I'm not sure, to be honest. Lisp, Haskell, Clojure. I'm going to go with Haskell. Nope, wrong. I'm not sure out of these, to be honest. I'm not sure. So there are more functional programming languages, like Haskell was the most functional out of that list, that actually force you to curry function. Python supports functional paradigms, but it's not built around them to specifically enforce them. So Python isn't a functional programming language, I suppose. It's an object-oriented programming language. Is that what Python is? Is Python a functional language? Let's see. Python is not traditionally known as a functional language, but it can enforce it. All right, so does that just mean it's object-oriented, potentially? It is an OOP. Wonderful to know. It's a dynamic language, which, for those interested in backend performance, a little bit slower than static languages like Golang or something a little bit closer to the hardware like Rust or C++. Okay, so I got to say this real quick. Excuse me. Okay, so when should you curry functions as a Python developer? Let's say rarely. It's usually to satisfy a specific function signature. That sounds about appropriate. Excuse me, I had to sneeze one more time. Guys, and I think that wraps up currying. I think that's a short lesson on it, but it seems to be kind of barreling functions within a function. So I think it's really specific on when to curry functions. Let's see. So obviously when using multiple arguments, I wonder if we want to use it in a sense of using like closures, like when you need a function with multiple arguments to remember stateful things. Potentially that's when to curry. Let's see. Situations where you need to reuse a function with varying numbers of arguments, or when you need to create a specialized version of a function with certain arguments already supplied. Okay, well, that's the lesson on currying. Let's keep moving.